Hey there, welcome to my channel. Raja Raghunath Shah of Garh Mandla, the tribal flame against the Mughals. In the heartland of India, nestled among the forests and hills of what is now Madhya Pradesh, rose a warrior king whose story is rarely told outside his homeland. Raja Raghunath Shah of Garh Mandla ruled in the 17th century, a time when Mughal might under emperors like Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb spread across the subcontinent. Yet this tribal king, descended from the Gonds, held out, preserving a realm of independence, dignity, and cultural brilliance amid imperial encroachment. The Gond people, one of the largest tribal communities in India, established several powerful kingdoms in central India. Garh Mandla was a prominent seat of power. It had existed in some form since the 14th century, with rulers like Sangram Shah and Dalpat Shah forging a Gond identity that was not only martial but deeply spiritual and artistic. So, let's talk about the geography and defense of the Gond kingdoms for a moment. Garh Mandla's dense forests, hills, and rivers naturally defended it. The capital, Mandla, was a fortified city surrounded by water from three sides by the Narmada River, with strong fortifications built using local stone. It was a kingdom aware of its vulnerabilities and strengths. Raja Raghunath Shah was born into the royal Gond lineage, a descendant of Rani Durgavati, the famed queen, who had died in battle against the Mughals in 1564. Her valor was a legacy that shaped the minds and spirit of her descendants. Raghunath Shah ascended the throne at a time of great uncertainty. The Mughals were pressing into Gond territories, seeking tribute, subservience, and control over regional trade routes and forest resources. Many small kings bowed to Mughal pressure, but not Raghunath. While many tribal rulers accepted the Mansabdari system, being absorbed into the Mughal bureaucratic and military order, Raghunath Shah defied it. He refused to take a subordinate position and continued to rule as an independent sovereign, often skirting Mughal emissaries with tactful replies or delays. Raghunath Shah understood the limitations of directly confronting the Mughal army in open battle. Instead, he employed guerrilla warfare, retreating into forested terrain where Mughal cavalry was, honestly, pretty ineffective. His soldiers knew the terrain intimately, using rivers, caves, and hills for tactical advantage. Raghunath Shah understood the limitations of directly confronting the Mughal army in open battle. So instead, he employed guerrilla warfare, retreating into forested terrain where Mughal cavalry was, pretty much ineffective. His soldiers knew the terrain intimately, using rivers, caves, and hills for tactical advantage. Raghunath Shah was not just a warrior. He was a poet and a patron of art. He composed verses in local dialects and supported tribal music and dance. Temples, forts, and sculptures from his time bear the markings of Gond aesthetics, carvings of tigers, elephants, local deities, and celestial symbols. Raghunath Shah was not just a warrior. He was a poet and a patron of art. He composed verses in local dialects and supported tribal music and dance. While the Mughals attempted to Persianize many regional courts, Raghunath's Garh Mandla, remained true to Gondi customs, languages, and rituals. Tribal festivals like Madai were given royal patronage, and animist practices really thrived alongside Hindu influences. By the late 1600s, Aurangzeb had intensified his campaigns in the Deccan and Bundelkhand. Garh Mandla, honestly, found itself caught between hostile neighbors and Mughal incursions. At times, emissaries were sent by the Mughals, offering gifts and positions if Raghunath Shah would accept vassalage. He responded with vague promises, just maintaining a delicate balance between offense and avoidance. Raghunath Shah's defiance came at a cost. By the end of his reign, parts of Garh Mandla had been raided. Yet despite this, the core of his kingdom remained intact. Like many tribal rulers, Raghunath Shah's story faded from mainstream history. He is remembered in oral traditions, folk songs, and the ruins of forts and temples in Mandla. So, modern historians have actually begun to revisit his era as an example of indigenous resistance to imperial expansion. Yeah, not just in military terms, but also in, cultural resilience. Raja Raghunath Shah was not merely a footnote in history. He was a sovereign who just refused to bow, a tribal leader who kept his people's spirit alive, and honestly, a poet who turned resistance into art. At a time when empires were swallowing up identities, he preserved his own, silently, steadfastly, and without compromise. His legacy, just like the rivers and forests of Mandla, flows on. It waits not in books, but in the wind among the ruins, in the beats of tribal drums, and in the spirit of every gone child who learns that their ancestors once defied an empire. Thank you for listening, and hey, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.